Stop trying to fix your marriage for a second, because it doesn't matter what you do if you are a woman with this one subconscious belief running in the background. Nothing will ever get better. I had this belief for years, and it easily could have led to us breaking up for a second time. But once I identified it, I could finally change it. I am Lindsay. This is Loving with Intention. Let's dive in to uncover this belief and how to shift it. I have so got you. So there is this thought that's probably running through your mind right now, one that feels so real, so true, and you don't even question it anymore. You probably don't even notice that it's there. The thought, the belief is, things will never change in my relationship. He will never change. And honestly, I get why you would believe this. You've probably tried everything. Planning date nights, trying to have conversations about making things better, suggesting going to counseling. Maybe you've even done the counseling and nothing seems to stick. Maybe you have a few good days, you feel hopeful that things are going to change, but then you go right back to feeling unappreciated and into the same painful patterns again and again. You have plenty of evidence that things aren't changing, right? So here's what I love so much about our brain and these beliefs. Trust me, understanding this, it changes everything. Your brain is actually creating a self-fulfilling prophecy without you even realizing it. And the more that you believe things won't change, the more your brain works overtime to prove you right. I remember sitting in my bedroom on the floor in front of the mirror, tears streaming down my face. I was absolutely convinced that things wouldn't get better in our relationship. We'd already broken up once, we got back together, and here I was, so freaking upset after an argument, wondering if we'd end up breaking up again. This argument, it felt so familiar. It brought me right back to before the breakup. I was questioning if he could change, if things could change, and I was so focused on that I was really missing something crucial. Here's the truth that helped me transform my relationship, and it can do the same for yours. Your relationship is already changing. So let's let that land. Every single day, your relationship is changing. It is literally impossible for it not to change, just like it's impossible for a river to stop flowing. So when you're thinking things won't change, the reality is it is changing. But the question is, in which direction? So here's what happens when you believe that nothing will change, that he won't change, that nothing will get better in your relationship. You start to run that thought on repeat. It's this belief that's just running under the surface. So when you think this thought often, either consciously so you're aware of it or subconsciously, it's just there, your brain recognizes this thought as important to you. When your brain knows something is important to you, and I've talked about this so many times before, it is your brain's job to show you more of that thing. Just like when you buy a new car and start seeing the same car everywhere on the road, that's thanks to your brain doing its job. This car is important to me, I'll show you more of this car. So your brain becomes a detective, bless your brain, searching for evidence that you're right, that your husband won't change, that your relationship won't get better, which means you unconsciously filter out the positive changes and positive things that are happening, because that's literally what your brain is supposed to do. Focus on what you believe is true and filter out the rest. So then you're seeing all this evidence of crappy behaviors, crappy patterns, things that are not changing, and that affects your mood. You start to feel hopeless. Your actions and how you show up in your relationship now come from that hopeless place. They actually end up creating more distance. So maybe he reaches for your hand and you pull away. Or he tries to joke with you, but you're already in that mood and you're assuming the worst and you respond really coldly to him. Or maybe you just stop sharing the little moments of your day because you're just like, what's the point? It creates more distance, which then proves your original belief. And you're like, I was right. Things aren't changing. They're actually getting worse. It is a vicious cycle, and there's good news. Always good news. I love good news. The moment that you see this pattern, that it's your thoughts and beliefs creating this reality, not your actual relationship, you get your power back, and that's the best. Because your relationship isn't actually stuck. You're just trapped in a thought loop that's making you feel stuck. I have been there. Thought loops, my jam. I know them well. So I know that it might feel like Groundhog Day in your relationship, like you're living the same day over and over. Same arguments, maybe same roommate vibes, same disappointments over and over, same hurtful things. Trust me, I felt this way too. And the truth is, even when it feels like nothing is changing, small shifts are happening under the surface. And again, they're either happening in a positive direction or things are getting worse. Think of your kid or someone else's kid if you don't have one. Day to day, you might not notice any changes in them. But then you look at a photo from 6 months ago and suddenly you're like, oh my gosh, they look totally different. Our relationships are exactly the same. The changes are so subtle. Bless you, my cat is sneezing. The changes are so subtle that we miss them when we're looking for big, obvious shifts in our relationship. And those subtle shifts that are happening, they're happening whether we choose to see them or not, just like that child is growing every day and we just don't notice it in the moment. So here's what's super powerful and one of my favorite things to do. The moment you start looking for evidence of positive change instead of evidence that nothing is changing, your whole experience shifts, like for real. Because what you look for, you will find. This is how your brain works. So instead of thinking he'll never change, start asking yourself, what can I notice today, even if it's tiny? Is there something positive? Maybe he puts his dishes in the sink instead of leaving it out. Maybe he asked about your day first. Maybe he makes you coffee. He starts the car for you. He says, I love you. He picked up something you like when he got groceries. When you start noticing these seemingly small shifts, your brain switches from detective mode looking for problems to detective mode looking for progress. You naturally start to respond differently because you're coming from a place of possibility instead of that place of hopelessness. Imagine you've been noticing the good, and now he reaches for your hand and you're feeling hopeful, not hopeless. You respond differently. Or you ask him about his day and then share about yours from a place of hopeful. You open the door for connection. Your different responses based on your beliefs create a safer space for him to show up differently. And suddenly, you're creating a new cycle, the best kind of cycle, one that builds connection instead of distance. And one of the best parts is you can literally start this right now. You don't need to explain this to him. You don't need to show him this video. You don't need to get him on board with anything. You don't need him to intentionally do anything differently. You just get to shift where you're putting your attention. Loving with intention, ding, 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 means consciously choosing this choice. Choosing to poke holes in that belief that he'll never change, and instead start to look for positive things, for evidence that things can get better. It's there. Because remember, your relationship, it's already changing. So the only question is, which direction do you want it to flow? I want you to know that my partner was not on board with doing relationship growth work for me. I had a choice. It was go all in and trust just me going all in without him, or stay exactly where we were. Forever freaking grateful that I went all in on me, because me working on me and working on my beliefs, that led to him showing interest in working on things with me because I'd started to create a whole new vibe in our relationship. Now we actively work on things together. And when I tell you that he used to be a hard no whenever I would ask him to do anything, read a book, listen to a podcast, do a course, get coaching, anything, I mean it. And now he's an immediate yes. He even suggests that we do things. It gets to start with you, and you have so got this. And of course, this is just one piece of intentional change in your relationship, a huge piece. And when you combine this with the rest of my love journey process, oh my goodness. When you start diving into the commitment keys and filling the love account, getting familiar with your nervous system, changing unhealthy patterns into healthier ones, with this new belief that things can change, you will have so much evidence left, right, and center to help you really solidify this new belief. The truth is, when you show up differently in your relationship, you change the entire dance. It's what happened when I went all in with a relationship coach without my partner. It's what the women that I work with, it's what they see. Celebrating wins is one of my favorite things. We get to create wins and feel that possibility. I love it so much because it's not enough to just say, okay, I'm going to change my belief. We have to actually create this new belief. So if you're ready to go all in, I do have private coaching available for women and couples right now. And if you're not sure and you just want to like dip a toe in, I created my signature workshop, Be the Change for Women Just Like You. It is modeled after the very first session that I do with my clients because this is where we have to start to create change. No husband required. You will get personalized action steps that will help you create so many wins and so much evidence to help you solidify this new belief. Things can get better. He can change and grow, even if he's not on board with relationship growth work yet. One woman who took this workshop, she shared with me that she started doing the intentional actions, and a couple weeks later, her husband bought her flowers for the first time in forever. And she was so happy. I love it so much. This is the power of going all in. So you can pop the word change below, and I will share the workshop link, or you can just grab it in the description box. It is time for change. Your intentional action today is to look for things that are going well in your relationship. Look for a win, look for something to appreciate, even if it seems silly and small, Every time you tell your brain to look for something positive, it starts to get to work like a little detective. And if you haven't seen the Be the Change workshop, you can head to the description box and just dive in or comment the word change. I have got you. Seriously, one workshop will leave you creating wins that your brain barely even has to search for because they'll be right there. You have got this. And then check out the video on the screen because there are 5 daily habits that women are doing that hurt our relationships so much. And when you change these habits, you'll be seeing even more wins to help you change that belief. Yay! I am sending so much love into your day. Thank you so much for being here. Remember that nothing changes if nothing changes. So let's have a super intentional week.